What's this? In the victim's hand, it's called Killer X.
Yes, but even I've got a bottle of cold Killer X in my apartment. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid the document won't work. There's no doubt as to who this bottle of cold Killer X belonged to. Especially since Mr. Wright's fingerprints were all over it. What? Again, something we should have known before the case. Of course, sure. Sensing his murderous intent, Mr. Swallow must have picked up the bottle of medicine, dropped by Mr. Wright and hid it in his hand. His purpose in doing so can only have been to identify his killer as Phoenix Wright. I love that that's, in so many cases, it's an argument that, oh yeah, so he was trying to tell us who the killer was. Like, it's almost never that, but it's so often the argument.
Order! Order in the court!
Your Honor, I'd like to present this photo and bottle as evidence.
Very well. The court will accept them into the record.
Okay, and call Killer X. Also, the victim's wristwatch was broken.
Good.
Yes, it ceased functioning when a large wave of electricity passed through it. I don't know why that would make it stop. Like, I'm pretty sure it was a mechanical clock. Mechanical watch. Can you imagine an entire clock on your wrist? But so, like, does electricity do anything for it? I don't know. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have some kind of explanation for all of this? This is really bad.
Oh, my buttocks! My poor right!
Okay, well, let's go to the next testimony. The truth is, I went because he called me. He was in the pharmacology department, so we agreed to meet at 2:45 behind the building. We talked for a bit, and then at around 3 we split up. Then later, when I went back, I found him lying there. I've been taking cold Killer X for the last 2 or 3 days, but I lost my bottle of it around lunchtime on the day of the accident.
Mr. Wright, that's completely different than the testimony you gave previously.
I am sorry, Your Honor. I was afraid you wouldn't believe the truth. You'll forgive me if I say I hardly find your current testimony any more credible.
Miss Fay, please begin your cross-examination.
Oh, please, Mr. Wright. Don't tell any more lies. Okay. Now. Pharmacology department. Let's press on that one. Was it Mr. Swallow who indicated you should meet at 2:45? Yeah, and we were both there right on time.
You said the victim was in the pharmacology department, correct?
Yeah, he was studying how to manufacture and improve pharmaceuticals. Everyone called him the alchemist of IVU.
An alchemist? I see.
I gotta admit, it was a little suspicious. He had a whole laboratory and everything. It was filled with chemicals and strange machines that ran on high voltage electricity.
Oh, fascinating. It sounds like he was quite an ambitious young man.
What do I do? Maybe I should ask him for some more details. About the pharmacology department. I was wondering if you could tell us a bit more about the pharmacology department. Well, okay, sure. I don't know all that much though. A little bit earlier in your testimony, you said something interesting. You said the department uses strange machines that run on high voltage electricity. That's right, and they sure look dangerous. They use non-standard voltages, so there are high voltage cables everywhere. High voltage cables? Yeah, there were electrical poles set up all around the building. The high voltage cables run overhead around the roof. Finally, I think we're getting somewhere. Okay, so the next one, I think, is this? It's rather unusual to catch a cold this time of the year, isn't it? Yeah, I always get a little careless when the weather starts to warm up. I guess I shouldn't sleep with the window open this early in spring, huh? I suppose common sense is not always common. So, did everyone else know that you were taking cold medicine? Well, I always took one after meals, so I'm pretty sure all my friends know about it. Let's press on this one as well. I don't think it matters, but just in case. On the day of the incident, what did you do for lunch? Or maybe it does matter. Okay, well. What does that have to do with anything? You can never be too sure. I always eat with Dolly, just the two of us. Dolly's homemade lunches are just the greatest. And their mini omelets are magically delicious.
Oh, yeah. Why did you punch me in the jaw?
Oh yeah, right. If you press on another one before Mia just slaps him on the arm, I love the gratuitous violence. Oh, I'm so sorry. I just felt like hurting someone all of a sudden. Amazing.
I think that's enough for now. So the defendant and the victim met at approximately the time of his death. And then the defendant returned to the scene for some unknown reason.
I'm not entirely convinced by his explanation about the medicine bottle either.
Let me be frank here, Mr. Wright. Your testimony cannot be trusted.
What do you mean? I knew it was too much work for a little girl.
However, there is one mystery that still remains.
There is, Your Honor?
How the murder was carried out, of course. Just how was the victim electrocuted? I don't believe the murder weapon has been produced yet, correct?
Well, that is... You are correct, Your Honor. So, how exactly was Mrs. Wallet killed? If I could somehow establish how it was done, maybe I could still come out of this mess smelling like a rose. Your Honor?
Yes, Miss Fay.
I believe that if we were to piece together everything we've heard up until now, we should be able to solve the mystery of how Mr. Swallow died.
That would be most impressive.
Quite a brash statement coming from a rookie. But even a beginner like you must understand the basic rules of the court, yes? An attorney must be able to substantiate their arguments with evidence. Of course I know that. Actually, I totally forgotten about it. Of course you had forgotten about that, Mia. Seriously, what have you been doing in law school?
Now then, Miss Fay, let me see what you've got. Show me how you believe the victim was electrocuted.
Let me just check that it's this one. Yep, it is this one. As for the cause of death, I'd say this picture captures it quite well.
What? But there's nothing that even remotely resembles a murder weapon here. I'm afraid the defense is going to have to explain this in a bit more detail. Miss Fay, where exactly is this photo? Where exactly in this photo is the murder weapon?
Right there.
Take that!
'Well, naturally, it's right here.
That's... What is that?
A severed electrical cable, I believe, Your Honor. Remember the testimony we've heard? The machines the pharmacology students use in their experiments require high voltage. And because of that, there are special high voltage cables strung up everywhere.
So then, the high voltage cable...
Yes, the high voltage cable is the cause of death. It is the most likely explanation.
That certainly sounds plausible. Well, Mr. Payne, what do you have to say about this?
Well, I believe some praise is in order. I mean, at least. Don't toy with me, old man. No, the victim's cause of death may indeed have been a high voltage cable. However, I want you to think about what that really implies. The only one who had the opportunity to use the cable as a murder weapon was... the defendant. Cough. He's so cute when he does that.
That much is certainly true.
Yes, and that's not all. You have proof. Irrefutable proof that will establish that Mr. Wright was the murderer.
You do? Well, what is it?
His fingerprints.
Fingerprints? You mean that the defendant's fingerprints were on something besides the medicine bottle?
Let's take another look at the crime scene photo. As you can see, the victim is wearing a leather jacket. And as you may know, leather holds fingerprints quite well. You mean... Yes, it was quite clearly imprinted on the chest area on the victim's jacket. The palm print of the defendant's very own hand.
What?
I can only think of one way Mr. Wright could have left a print like that. Intent to murder, he squarely pushed the victim towards the severed electrical cable.
Order! That's enough! I think we can conclude that there is no reason to continue with this cross-examination. Stick a fork in us, we're done.
Mr. Grossberg.
My rights never lie, and the show is over me. I knew that boy was guilty the first time I saw him.
I mean, yeah, look at him. That's a face of a hard criminal. I don't know. No, you're wrong. Mr. Wright is innocent.
No further evidence is required to convince me of this man's guilt.
Your Honor.
At this time, I am prepared to render a verdict in this case. Do you have something further to add, Miss Faye?
Is this what you want, Mr. Wright? You still haven't told us the truth, the whole truth. If you don't say something now, the judge is going to hand out his... No. Sorry. I know it's an important thing, but sometimes I get, The judge is going to hand out his verdict. Whatever, I kind of fumbled that as well, but still. But I can't. I just can't say it. If I told you what really happened, then I'd be... It's okay, Mr. Wright. I'm your attorney. You can trust me. Miss Faye, no matter what it is you have to say, I believe in you and I'll represent you to the end. To the very end. We've already established the defendant's guilt. There's no further need for him to say anything. Wait a minute. Mr. Wright, I'll tell you what really happened. But I've already told you, Mr. Wright. There's no need for further. I did it. I admit it, I pushed him. It's my fault. My fault that Doug Swallow is dead. that girl. You shouldn't see her anymore. Hey, it's none of your business. I'm telling you for your sake, if you continue to see her, it's going to be bad news. You're lying! Just listen to me. There's something you need to know about that girl. Stop it! Don't talk about her like that! And there we go.
What you just said, was that the truth?
Yes, I was afraid that if I told the truth, everyone would think I was the murderer for sure.
Well, as things currently stand, we all have something convinced you are.
To be fair, yeah, me too, and I know you didn't do it. Please give me one more chance to explain. This time I swear I'll tell the whole truth. It'll be okay, won't it, Miss Faye? I believe in you. Oh, thank you. I mean, yeah, it was going to be okay, but you kind of complicated things. I mean, I'm kind of thinking I might as well let it go. No, I'm kidding, I still can't believe it. He really did push the victim. It is kind of hard now, but we'll see.
It feels like my hemorrhoids are doing the Harlem Shake.
Well then. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, last episode was recorded on the 20th of April, and right now it is the 13th of July, so that might tell you my frame of mind regarding this series, as I'm sure I've said, now I don't remember because it's been a while, but I'm sure I've said in the last couple of episodes that this is a difficult let's play to record for me because of all the reading and the voices I try to do. So that is why I haven't recorded in a while, but I love this game so much and I wanted to play it again. I mean, I've played the first case so many times at this point. I do want to continue this game eventually, but so yeah, let's do it. What better time than today when I've been awake since 3 a.m. and I am a little lightheaded, I'm not gonna lie, but let's continue. That guy, he was talking bad about Dudley. I lost my temper and gave him a shove. At that moment, I heard some kind of loud noise. A little while after I left, I started to get worried. So I went back, but he was just laying there, dead. Well, the explanation is really quite simple. When you pushed him, Mr. Swallow flew back and touched the electrical cable. He died from the shock, and that, as they say, is that.
A simple explanation indeed.
At the time of the incident, a light rain had been falling. Wet from the rain, the victim was more easily electrocuted. But when I pushed him, there weren't any electrical cables nearby. If there had been something like that, even I would have noticed it. That's true. Even a doofus like him could have missed that.
Miss Faye, let me warn you right now that if your cross-examination doesn't yield any new facts, I intend to deliver my verdict without further delay. Are we clear on that?
Yes, Your Honor. Don't give up, Mia. If he is innocent, there must be some kind of evidence somewhere that would prove it. Okay, so I'm gonna do my thing and press all of the things until I get something. So I think I'm gonna cut the parts that lead to nowhere. Can you tell me about what happened in a little more detail? That guy, he just said what he wanted to say to me. And then he put on the jacket he was holding and started to leave. That's when I lost my temper and flew into a furious frenzy. I just gave him a light, gentle shove to the chest. A loud noise? And what would you say that loud noise was, Mr. Wright? I'm not sure, but it was really loud. It was like snap. You know, come to think of it, I wonder what that was. Clearly, Your Honor, it was the sound of the victim being electrocuted. That wouldn't do a snap noise. You're not qualified to decide that. What should I do? I'm treading on some dangerous ground here. Of course, ask for more details. Mr. Wright, that loud noise you heard may be extremely important, so try to remember what it was. How do I put it? It was like a sharp crack. Ah, could it have been... Yes? Could it have been? Hurry up and tell us! When I pushed him, he dropped the umbrella he was holding. He fell right on top of it and it broke. That was probably the noise I heard.
An umbrella, huh? And did that umbrella belong to the victim?
Yeah, it was a plastic umbrella. Cheap and frail, kind of like the owner. Then again, I wish I had any kind of umbrella. I was totally soaked to the bone.
Miss Faye, what do you think? Is there something important in that testimony just now?
Of course it's important. Every new detail is always important in Ace Attorney games. This is it, Mia. The new information you've been waiting for. Of course it's important. No, this cheap umbrella is more than important, it's vital. I want to officially have it entered into the testimony. How perfectly fitting. Flimsy information for a flimsy lawyer.
The court agrees to the defense's request. Witness, please add the bit about the cheap umbrella to your testimony.
After I shoved him, he fell down on top of his cheap umbrella. Let's press again. Although, okay, let's actually, as I said, it's been a while. So let's see what we have. Crime photo, for example. There's the umbrella. Presenting it as evidence here would not do, because presenting evidence is to contradict what the witness is saying. And here it wouldn't contradict anything. It would, although it would confirm the umbrella is broken, but he is not on top of his cheap umbrella. So I don't know, maybe. Alright. Let's press again. So Mr. Swallow fell on top of his umbrella? Are you certain of this? Yeah, it was right there under him. Actually, if it hadn't been under him, I was planning on borrowing it for myself. Wow. The umbrella, you mean? Well, yeah, you see, I was wearing this sweater here. Dolly stayed up late for nights at a time knitting it for me. I didn't want the rain to dampen the handmade symbol of her love.
My stomach is not to be used as your personal soccer ball, Mia.
I'm sorry.
Continue on with your testimony, witness.
But like, pressing only kept going on about the fact that he was on top of his umbrella. So I think I'm onto something, but I don't know if that is exactly what I'm supposed, because Ace Attorney games need to be particular about these sort of things. So like it needs to be something very specific. So while I'm sure that that is something that they are hinting towards it, maybe it's not something yet. You know what I mean? Like Ace Attorney games are like that, and you might catch on to something, but then you try to present it as evidence, and it wouldn't accept it until later on. Like I don't know how to explain it properly, but I think you get me. It fell down on top. Okay, let's try this. Let's try. It's this one, right? Yes. Objection. It is. The music stopped, so that means it worked. Why didn't you testify about the umbrella from the very beginning? Come on, if I had mentioned that, I would have been able to counter the prosecution's arguments earlier. What do you mean by that? Take another look at the crime scene photo. According to Mr. Wright, the victim fell on top of his umbrella. However, if you look closely, the umbrella is nowhere near the victim. Actually, it's by the electrical pole.
You're absolutely right.
The conclusion here is obvious. After the defendant left, the victim moved from where he fell. In other words, after he was pushed by the defendant, Mr. Swallow was still alive. No!
Order! The victim, he moved. Mr. Payne, the umbrella in this photo, where is it now?
Well, it was collected by the police at the crime scene.
I want it presented as evidence immediately.
There it is. But the umbrella could have simply been blown there by the wind. According to the testimony, the victim fell on top of the umbrella. There's simply no way it could have been blown there by the wind. But...
I know this matter of the umbrella seems relatively trivial, but as long as the smallest doubt remains, I cannot render final judgment.